So there is no evidence of any of that in the Twitter files. That's kind of the most remarkable thing about this entire situation. But based on that man's kind of blog posts and his sort of misreading of how we worked and what we looked at and what we did, Dellenberger really ate it up, and he just kind of regurgitated it under oath to Congress. And I was very surprised by that, I have to say, because I thought, surely I've been engaging with him one-on-one because he reached out in December. He wanted to know about content moderation. He didn't even know the basics, but he was already writing about it. And so I just, I talked to him, I engaged with him off the record for months. But again, when it came right down to it, rather than reaching out to me and saying, hey, I've got this guy who I connected with who's briefing.
So looking at Pete Hegseth of Fox News on the screen right now, he's like a younger version of Dennis Prager.
Me for my congressional testimony, he says you censored 22 million tweets. Nobody ever asked me that question, right? So it was a really remarkable kind of construct in which, and I get it, he's got a Substack, he needs to make money, he needs to grow his audience. And the way that conspiracy theories work, you have to create a villain, because, I just explained it to you, and it probably sounds very convoluted, very like, red string on a whiteboard kind of meme, right? It takes a long time to debunk point by point all of the crazy allegations in a conspiracy theory. For me, it's an order of magnitude more effort to refute the bullshit. Whereas for him, all he has to say is, she censored 22 million tweets. She's the head of the censorship industrial complex. And people who are not critical, haven't read my work, don't know who I am, don't know that I've advocated against takedowns for the better part of 5 years now, are like, oh yeah, censor, And so that's how the bespoke reality works, unfortunately. And that's
So this is a conversation between three sinister leftists, right? This woman's the leftist, the two hosts are leftists, right? And yet they're having a completely reasonable, thoughtful, nuanced conversation that is worth listening to.
That's how, we're not surprised by it. I'm not surprised.
And the right wing is in this story are the idiots, right? There are a lot of idiotic people on the right and on the left.
By it. It is a response. I think the question comes back to, what do you want? So do you want elections in which viral lies spread and proliferate and election officials are threatened and people don't trust the outcome of the elections because incentivized parties are lying?
So speaking of experts getting threatened, like now meteorologists getting threatened because people don't like various political legislation about climate change. So meteorologists being threatened by low IQ, right-wing perspectives, drumming up, hatred for experts. Now it's the meteorologists.
And, and using their large follower accounts to manipulate their followers with claims that an election was stolen or ballots were destroyed or mules are doing God knows what. Is that the kind of information environment you want? Or is it reasonable for platforms to label some of these claims?